A warm welcome to you all. Without further delay, we are pleased to introduce your new manager.
That's right, it's time for Season 3 of Fabio Grosso's Road to the World Cup in 2026. We've jumped from Portugal with Braga all the way to London, where we're going to be managing West Ham United. They got off to an interesting season last year. I think they got taken over by someone very, very wealthy, because as you've seen on the thumbnail, they do have some pretty big names. I got a massive surprise on the 1st of July as well, when Calvin Phillips showed up, not only wearing the wrong shirt, but ready to play for West Ham. 46.5 million for Calvin Phillips meant we had a midfield that was all 85 rated. Phillips, Musiala and Paqueta are all super fun. Otavio and Galeno on the wings are really good wingers too. Scamacca's one of my favourite strikers on FIFA. We also had Araujo from Barcelona, Kera playing right back, Pedraza from Spain, and players like Thorgan Hazard couldn't even make the first team. The board wanted us to get Europa League in this season, but I think deep down we all know we're going to be trying to get at least the Champions League with a team of this quality. Before we can focus on the league, however, of course, we do have to play some friendlies. Not only is it our first impression as a West Ham manager, but it is actually our first impression of some of these players. We're going to get to learn the squad with a tough game here against Sevilla playing in Argentina. Now personally, I haven't actually used a lot of these players on FIFA 23, so it was a lot of getting used to how the players would work, how they felt on the ball, and one man that really impressed me, as I'm sure you would expect, was Musiala. Not only is he really good at dribbling, like 90 dribbling, but he can do passes like that. That back heel took out like 3 defenders from Sevilla and gave a really easy chance to Otavio. Now, we do have a pretty interesting tactic that we're trying to play with this team. Our main goal is to be pressing as high up the pitch as soon as we can and get the goalkeeper or centre-backs to launch long balls forward to escape our press. We have a pretty good back line in terms of aerial ability, with Aguerd and Araujo both being pretty dominant in the air. We also have Calvin Phillips, who despite only being about 5'10", can actually win a lot of headers. So that means that's a super easy way for us to get the ball back in dangerous positions and progress the balls to the likes of Musiala. You can see right there, that's the kind of positions we want Musiala to be. We want him attacking the box from deep. We want him to be getting on the edge of chances, want him to be creating them in the box as well. All around, he's going to be getting a lot of assists, a lot of goals, and doing a lot of dribbles. But let's not ignore Lucas Paqueta on the other side. He's better at dribbling, in fact. He's got 5-star skills, so we can do quite a lot of good stuff with both of these as a combination. So far in our preseason games, we've got 2 1-1 draws, but Juventus and Sevilla are pretty interesting teams, pretty difficult to play against. A more interesting team, however, is RB Leipzig. You can see some of the players they've got right now. Mason Mount playing attacking midfield. They got Leao on one wing. They had someone else really good on the other wing, and Werner up front. In fact, Werner would get an early penalty against us, but it wasn't really that interesting of a clip, so I thought I'd cut it out. Paqueta would be doing the same thing Musiala likes to do, getting into the box from deep. Werner would get a second yellow card in a friendly match. Maybe he just really doesn't like teams from London. And again, we would finish with a 1-1 draw. So that would actually be the last match we played in pre-season. We didn't actually need to make any signings before the season started, so we're getting straight into the press conference before our first match. The streets of London were absolutely littered with West Ham United fans. It's a big day, of course, opening season of the Premier League, and we were playing against Middlesbrough, recently promoted and probably the worst team in the league on overall rating. We were going to be trying to win this first game with a pretty big margin. With the players we have, with the talent we've got off the bench, we had more than enough to destroy a team like Middlesbrough. No offence to any Middlesbrough fans watching, but look at this team. Kera, Araujo, Aguerd, Pedraza, Musiala, Phillips and Paqueta in midfield, with Otavio, Scamacca and Galeno up front. The bench was absolutely stacked as well. Gelhardt, Bernat, Hazard, these are all players that are going to feature heavily throughout this season. So the Premier League is now up and running. We were playing Calvin Phillips more as a deep-lying playmaker like he used to play for Leeds, rather than an out-and-out defensive midfielder like he has played for Manchester City and for England. That meant he was going to be constantly on the edge of the box, feeding balls into both Paqueta and Musiala. And it was when he wins the ball high up the pitch like that and finds Scamacca that you knew Calvin Phillips was going to be a massive part of this season. That 46.5 million looked like a bargain, as he was actually transfer listed at Manchester City. So what a pickup that was from our previous manager. But look at that ball, straight to Scamacca, straight across the goalkeeper. And it was already 1-0 to West Ham United. Of course though, you can't get promoted from the Championship unless you have some really good players, and Matthew Harp is one of those for Middlesbrough. He got quite a lot of goals last year in the Championship, and it took him just 35 minutes to get his first one in the Premier League. But we're not just a pass it around the midfield kind of team. We've got players like Scamacca up front. Galeno can cross a ball like no one else, and Scamacca, 6'4" or 6'5", he's always going to be dominant in the air against championship level defenders. He just blasts that in from the centre of his forehead, and all of a sudden we're up 2-1. Both Hazard brothers are now playing in the Premier League on this career mode. We have Thorgan, we did bring him on as a left winger to rest some of our better players. He should have put us 3-1 up, but Gelhardt didn't miss from the corner. A nice header looping over the goalkeeper. That was 2 headers so far in this game, and we were 3-1 up. And that's exactly how the game would finish. We have to say we're very happy with how that's gone. 3-0 probably could have been a little bit more fair because Middlesbrough didn't have too many chances in that game, but 3-1 was a good result for us. We were going to have to try a little bit more though if we wanted to beat Tottenham Hotspur. While the West Ham fans might hate Millwall more than they hate Spurs, Millwall aren't in the Premier League, so this is probably our biggest rivalry we'll be playing in this season. So, playing away at our rivals, let's have a look at their team. Konate, Tapsoba and Romero is pretty good. Kimmich and Bissouma in midfield. Osman Dembele, Richarlison and Son up front. We've gone unchanged. If we were going to win this game, we needed to play really, really well with some of those attacking threats and some of that defensive solidity that Conte had brought to Spurs. The first chance, though, would come to someone who's already at Spurs in real life. Heung-min Son would smash a free kick right in the top corner. Nothing Areola can do to stop that one, and we're already 1-0 down after just a few minutes. But Scamacca would be put through on goal. He'd get a lucky rebound, and it was 1-1 just as soon as they had scored. He didn't want to celebrate for some reason, but still, 1-1 at half-time was a good result for us. A big mistake there though from Calvin Phillips nearly did give Spurs a second goal. Thankfully for us, it didn't result in one, and we would still be 1-1 after 57 minutes. Kerr would get the ball out wide, Phillips playing it through to Paqueta. Otavio would find Scamacca, Scamacca would find Musiala in the box. That was very similar to a goal we scored in a pre-season friendly, and that's exactly how we want to play on this career mode. Good bit of play there from Paqueta, found Otavio. He found Galeno, the other winger. I love it when wingers combine like that. Galeno, another header. We're becoming a pretty lethal aerial combination. I mean, look at that cross. It's exactly where you want it, and the header is right in the corner. Nothing the goalkeeper can do about that. So, 5 minutes left now. Richarlison gets the ball. A long shot's well saved by Areola. Cornet just gets there before Dembele, but he gets up first. Dembele to Sinisterra, and it ricochets off Araujo for a corner. With Kimmich over the corner, we don't win the header. It bounces off and somehow goes in. With just 1 minute left, Richarlison has kneed the ball into the net. So it's 2-2 in the last minute. Look what it means to these Spurs players. They're all on the pitch. There's the little touch off the thigh. It's just gone past Areola. And somehow, despite us probably being the better team in this game, the game is going to end 2-1. Sure, we had our own lucky chances. They probably should have scored from that Calvin Phillips mistake. But still, 2-2, we can't really complain. We probably would have taken that before the game started. So I need you now to let me know in the comments who you think the man of the episode is. I think Scamacca has a good shout for it. I do think he's been one of our best players. You could probably say Musiala's been really good as well. I think Araujo's been really good, but I haven't shown too many clips of that. And again, we're going with a pretty similar team to before, the same defence and same midfield. Just in this case, we have Otavio, Scamacca and Hazard starting up front against Arsenal. They have some really good players themselves though. Osimhen up front, they've got Paulista, Normand at the back. I think if we play our best, we do have a really good chance of winning this game. We just need to make sure we don't make any mistakes like that, where Sambi Lakonga's slide tackle goes through to Osimhen, and it's a really good save from Areola. I mean, one-on-one there. Someone of his rating, I think he's about an 87 in this career mode, he's got to be scoring. Scamacca's going to show him how it's done, surely. And yes, off both posts, it goes into the back of the net. That's the kind of striker that Arsenal need up front. A Scamacca, someone like that who can actually finish the ball, because they should easily be 1-1 right now, not losing 1-0. Look at the outside of the boot curve on that. Hits it off both posts. What a shot. Really enjoyed scoring that one. We would have another chance though just a few minutes later. Otavio would do a low cross and Scamacca actually got there. He just couldn't quite get the shot off to beat Ramsdale. The fans were loving it. The Freddie Ljungberg derby it was being called. Of course, he played for West Ham and a long time for Arsenal. But we had actually survived the first half. Yet another mistake fell to Osimhen, and this time he decided to hit it early. He should have done what Cornet did here, used his pace to beat the defender, get into a nice position and hit one towards the far corner. but this time it only hit the post. We get another chance though, Gelhardt coming on for Skamaka, just as good in the air despite being a little bit shorter. That would be the last chance of the game. And indeed, it would actually end 1-0. So we got off to a pretty good start so far. I think we got 7 points from the first 3 games, but we'll show the table at the end of the episode just to confirm exactly how well we're doing. So after 3 games, we'd already played 2 of our biggest rivals in Arsenal and Spurs, and we'd taken 4 points from them. Also, it's not given that you're going to get the 3 points against Middlesbrough as well, so we just had to make the most of the games we had in front of us. We did make this signing here on deadline day. It was Festi Ebasele. He's a young right wing back. He's going to be basically backup to Kera and maybe playing a couple of cup games here and there. He's good at getting forwards. He's okay at defending. We can train him up. I think he's about a 71 overall. But if you got any signing suggestions as well, please do let me know in the comments. You can see some of our signings right there if you wanted to pause the video. And then the final thing I want to show you guys is this transfer offer. Would you have accepted this? Let me know in the comments. But thank you all for watching. Bruno isn't coming to West Ham United. I'll see you tomorrow for the next episode. Cheers and goodbye.